This is the third in the tutorial series on how to use Evernote, and in this tutorial we're looking at the desktop version of Evernote. In this case it's Evernote on a Mac. In this video we're going to look at notebooks and how to create them, to share them, to create stacks of them, to sort them out and be organised with them. So notebooks we'll find on the left hand side here. And a notebook is a way of organising your notes so that you can find them later on. So rather than have all the notes going into one notebook, and in my case I have a default notebook called Inbox, and any time I send a note from whatever source, I might email it to myself, clip something from a web page, do an audio note, whatever note I send will end up in the inbox. And then I have to sort them out from there. So the one that I did yesterday was to create a note called Messy Desk, and I want that note to be in a notebook called Paperless. At the moment it's still in the inbox, and you can see there that's where it is. I've put some tags with it, and we're looking at tags. In the next video will be tags, and I can select the notebook from here where I want it to go. So in this case I want it to go into a notebook called Paperless, and so here's the notebook, and as soon as I do this it will disappear from the inbox. It's no longer there, that note. There's the inbox, there's all of the notes in that notebook, the inbox. It's been shifted down to where the Paperless notebook is, and there it is there, and it's sorted by, I've sorted my notebooks by date created. I could sort it by title if I wanted to, and within that groups, and see the previous video 2 on organising your notes. But what you need to do is create some notebooks. So you might have to think about all the different types of notes that you're going to produce and how you might organise them. To create a new notebook is simply go up to the File menu, and you can do it from here, New Notebook, with the keyboard shortcut. Down on the bottom on the left there, and the plus sign, New Notebook. You can do it from that way too. So if I create a new one, I think I might, no, right click doesn't do it. Right click will let you do a new note, but not a new notebook. So let's create a new notebook, File, New Notebook, and I'm just going to call it Random for want of something better. When you create a notebook, you have the opportunity there to make that notebook your default notebook. So if I wanted every single note that I do from now on to go into the random notebook first, I would make that my default notebook. Now I've made it mine the inbox. So they all go into the inbox, and from there I sort them out. You have two choices here. If you select local notebook, then the random notebook will only be available on the device where you created it. So I'm using Evernote on a MacBook Pro. If I made this notebook local, then only the Evernote program on this local machine would be able to access it. It would not be synchronized up to my Evernote account in the cloud or pushed down to all my other devices. So I always do synchronize because I want this notebook to be available on any device. So I'm going to create it. I don't want it to be my default because I already have one. Inbox is the default. Create it, and there it is here. There are no notes in it at the moment, but I'm going to put one in there. So if I go back up to my inbox, and I have a note that I've clipped somewhere from, well, here it is, 100 uses for Evernote. And I found that somewhere, and I clipped that from a web page using the web clipper, and that has 100 different ways that you can use Evernote. And I'm going to take it out of the inbox and put it into the random notebook, or actually want to keep a copy of it on the inbox. So I might right click it, and instead of moving it to the notebook and selecting the actual notebook random, because if I do that it comes out of the inbox, I want to copy it because I want to keep a copy of this particular note in the inbox because I always know where it is. So I'm going to copy it to random notebook. So it's still in my inbox, it's still here, but if I go into random, it's also here as well. And then I can click There's the notebook there. It's gone into that one. It's already got a title, and I can put some tags. So I just might call it 100 uses, and then press return, giving it a way of finding it later. Now this note is saved into a notebook called Random on my local machine, but I need to now synchronize Evernote on my local machine so that all changes I've made, any new notes or updates that I've made to my notes will now be synchronized to the main Evernote account, which is on the internet. So I can sync by clicking the sync button, and it actually down the bottom will tell you what's happening. So if I do it again, you've got to be quick. Syncing with Evernote and updating the note changes. And if I go to the internet and into my Evernote account on the internet, the actual notebook is there with the actual note in it. So it has been synchronized so that if I was to now open Evernote on my iPad or my phone and sync from the iPad Evernote app to my online account, that Random notebook will now be available on my iPad and on the phone, synchronizing everything. Every time you make a change, synchronize that change up to your main account. And you remember, you go to evernote.com to get your account, and now that's available. Back into the desktop version. The other things you can do with notebooks. There, in my inbox, there is another notes that I did recently, another paperless one that is in the inbox that I'd like to move into the paperless notebook. Now I can do it by dragging it into the Random. I can drag into paperless. Paperless is down here, so I can drag it in and do it that way. I can select from here. So going into the drop-down list of notebooks, I can select the appropriate notebook if I wanted to be sure it was going in there, and find it, paperless, and move it that way. And it's now out of the inbox. Note's gone. It's not here. It's in paperless. There's now 4 notes in there. And what I haven't done is add some tags to that. So I have a tag for paperless. So if I'm looking and searching all my notes, so I've got only got 88 notes, I think. I haven't got that many. When you get into hundreds and hundreds of them, trying to find them can be quite a difficult job. So you've got to be quite vigilant about how you set up your structure. So notebooks and tags. Tags are keywords that will allow you to find your information. In this case, it's going into the paperless notebook, but I could also search for the tag paperless by selecting all notebooks, going up to the search. I want to search by tag, and I want to search the paperless tag. And it brings up all 3 notes that have the tag paperless in them. So that one does. It also has image, so if I search for images, I'd find the image ones. Paperless has that tag. What is Evernote also has that tag. So it's a way of searching for things. More on tags in the next video. Other things to do with notebooks. You can create what they call stacks of notebooks. So if you look down here, I have a notebook called Technology. And then and next to that there is a little disclosure triangle. So if I tap that to open it, I have all these different notebooks that are all organized under the umbrella, the main heading of Technology. That is a stack. If I wanted to create a new stack and use this one as the basis of it, I can right-click on a notebook and I can add it to the stack. I could already add it to an existing stack, so I might have created the Random notebook and I want to add it to the Technology stack of notebooks. But I could also create a new one. So I'm going to create a new stack. And now that Random one is part of this. Now I can right-click on here to rename that stack, and I might call it my public folders, because these will be the notebooks that I perhaps would like to share with other people, public or private. And I've already got one folder in there. If I wanted to put another folder in there, I can simply take one and and drag it in there and drop it, which I don't want to do. Or I can create a new one. So within that folder, I can do a new notebook in my public folder. So I'm going to create a new notebook and I want it to go in that stack. You can drag notebooks around just by clicking on them, holding them down and dragging them around. Now I've got shared notes in there, which I probably do want to keep in there because this is going to be, actually it should go in here. The shared notes I want to be part of my public folders. I have no idea what that one is, so I'm going to right click on that and delete that notebook. And it gives me an opportunity to back out, which I don't want to do because there's no note in there and I have no idea why I created it in the first place. So I'm deleting it and it's gone. I've got 2 notebooks in my public folders and these are the ones I'm going to drop notes into that I wish to share. And we'll look at that in a minute, how do you actually share a notebook on the internet. And if I didn't want that in my public folders, I can just drag it out and put it somewhere else. So I'll keep it there. So when you have a stack, you'll notice they have triangles. So I have a summer school one here, which has different notebooks so that when I find notes that are relevant to these particular topics, they'll go into the inbox and from there I will tag them and put them into the summer school notebook. And it's just another way of organising, so you can have everything more easy to find. This triangle here will close all the notebooks up, so it just gives you a bit more space, and then you can open them. You can also see your notebooks by here, so this will give you a list, and you can find a notebook that way too. So if I was looking for the paperless notebook, it'll find it for me, and it also, because it's in a stack, it's harder to find. It'll tell you where to find it in that stack. And I actually have a second one. I didn't know I had that one. Paperless. I thought I only had this one, and I've got another one that I didn't know. So I could then go back and there it is there, going paperless. There's no point having 2, so I'm going to right click and delete that one. So you can find them that way, or you can just select all notebooks so you can see them all. To share a notebook, and I want to share the random one. So to share a network, I can right click that and share the notebook. And down here it's just updating the changes to the main account, syncing. And in the middle it will come up with how do you want to share it? Do you want to share it with specific individuals? So I could invite individuals here by clicking on that and putting in some email addresses. So enter email addresses of those that can view or edit that notebook. If you had Gmail, you could import your contacts there as well. You could add a message to that email message to say to the person you're sending it to why you're sharing this particular notebook with them. Individuals who join can, and you can indicate here, what do you want them to do? Just view your note or modify it? So if I'm sharing the 100 uses for Evernote, I want them to be able to modify it because I want them to be able to use it. It's not just look at it and do nothing. So you've got to decide what you want them to do with it. So to share it by inviting people, I can put in an email address and add a message so that the person who gets it will know what you are trying to share with them. And you can decide here how you want the interaction to work. So can the person view the note or modify the note, modify and invite others? So you have to decide what level of access you're going to give the users, and then you invite them. And then it would go to the email. So if we go to the email, and there's the email address, there's the actual invitation. So there's the message I put, very informative, and open the network. Now if you do it this way, then really what the person that you're sharing it with really needs to have an Evernote account to view this notebook. And so you might only share it privately if you're perhaps working in a team and you're all making changes to a document. You could share the notebook privately with just individuals via email, but then everyone really needs to have an Evernote account. So if you're just wanting to share it publicly with the world, I wouldn't use this method. So go back to the Evernote. The other way to share it is to create a public, let's go back here, a public URL. So into the folder, and all I've done is click up here, Manage Sharing, and that's the folder that we're sharing. And I have a public link, and that's that link that I can put anywhere. I can put it on a website, I can put it wherever I like, and anybody who clicks that link, because it's public, can access that notebook. So that's your link. If I now click it, it's going to open up a browser, and I have some options here also. I can just view the notebook without having to sign into Evernote, and that's probably what a lot of people might do on the internet. Or I can actually join the notebook, and to do that I have to be signed in to an Evernote account. And if I join it and I've been given permissions to modify and add to the note, then that's how I can collaborate. If I just want to look at it, I can just view the notebook. This is the random notebook that I'm sharing. It has this note in it, 100 uses for Evernote. Now somebody could now look at that, and you could print it. There's a print here. Or you could highlight it all and then copy and paste it into Word, so you can actually use the information yourself. And that's available by sharing it. Now all I would have to do is take the actual link, which I think is this first bit here, that bit, random. That's the actual URL, or go back to the actual Evernote application. There's the link. So I can copy that. Command C to copy it. If I was then to paste it somewhere into an email that I sent to people, or I put it onto my YouTube account, and next to this video, in the description of this video, you'll find this link so that you can click on that link and access this particular notebook. To change your sharing and to modify it, you've got to manage sharing, so you just click onto that, and all of the notebooks that you have in your Evernote account are here, along with the sharing status. So I'm sharing random, that one, publicly. I've also got a shared notes that I might be sharing just with individuals. And if I wanted to turn it off, I can go in to random and delete the link, so I don't want to share it anymore. And I could keep the link for the invited individuals. Account will take you back to all your notes. Notebooks are a very good way of organising your information. So look at that way, as trying to set up a structure when you first start using Evernote that will expand and grow and scale as you develop more and more notes. In the next video, we're going to look at tags. Now that's all for this one.